Perhaps one of the greatest crises facing modern medicine today is the emergence of antibiotic-resistant strains of bacteria. What can be done to avoid a medical calamity? I'm joined today by Dr. Francisco Delgado, who is a Christian as well as a physician who specializes in the treatment of infectious diseases. Paco, does it concern you about the idea that there's a rise in the prevalence of antibiotic resistance bacteria? Because I've heard that if we don't get this under control, we could actually have runaway strains of these superbugs that would force medicine back into the types of practice that we would have seen in pre-Civil War days.
That is correct, Fuzz. There is really a very alarming rise in multiple drug-resistant bacteria. And that is a big problem, a big public problem, because the development of antibiotics has not caught up with the rapidity of that these bacteria are acquiring the resistance.
So, what can be done to try to combat this problem, or is there anything that can be done?
Well, while we wait for more antibiotics to be developed, one of the things that we need to do is being very careful in the use of antibiotics. Antibiotics have to be used wisely and at the right times and in the right quantity, because the more antibiotics are used without a good reason, then we will be encouraging more of that resistance in the bacteria themselves.
So now, as part of your practice, you are part of what's called a stewardship committee that oversees the use of antibiotics in your hospital. So tell us how that works.
Yes, and antibiotics really are fascinating products. Really are coming from nature, and we have been able through science to use them for the benefit of humanity. But as anything in nature, we have to use it wisely. We have to use them the right way. So the way that we approach these issues in the hospital are trying to tailor those antibiotics to the kinds of bacteria that we're seeing, not trying to get what we call atomic bomb antibiotics to wipe out everything in existence, but to target the diseases to a specific antibiotics and try to curb their use. We are also trying to see, when we don't know what the pathogens are, as soon as we find it out, to bring down that antibiotic use to a more limited time and a limited doses.
So how does your faith as a Christian influence in how you think about the benefits of antibiotics as well as the management of antibiotics?
I see it as another natural resource, if we wanted to call it that way, because in creation we have so many different things that we need to use wisely, and antibiotics are just one of those. So when, for example, issues with corruption happen, when there is over deforestation of areas from greed, from ignorance, whatever you want to call it, which go against the Christian worldview, we see problems arising. So antibiotics are not exempt from this kind of a problem. The more that we are careful, wise, and judicious in the use of these resources, then we should be okay.